Santaco issuing a statement yesterday saying we condemn all violent acts as well as the continuous disruption of the transport system of the metropole. Please refrain from any such action or any confrontation with law enforcement officers, other transport services providers and the general public as we continue to negotiate with the government to resolve all disputes. Do you think this the statement by Santaco saying it's not our members causing the violence associated with the taxi stay away? Do you find that message sincere?
Well, I mean, it was obviously out of hand, and this is where leadership becomes a key component. And all the disruption, and of course, not only just disruption. 3 lives lost now. All comes through declaring the strike and then the violence that goes with it. You've got blocking of roads and, it does lead to other violence. And, of course, they must take responsibility for it. So I'm happy that they came out, I think, a bit late to come out after, I think specifically one of our officers was shot on Friday. And then, of course, yesterday at the airport approach and another person shot in Younger yesterday. And of course, we respect the rights of anybody to have a stay away or to stop their services as part of a negotiation of a proper organized strike, but you cannot involve yourself in any violence, and they have to take responsibility for that.
Premier, 1 year ago, we had what the provincial government said was a successful Blue Dot program. It showed via a pilot project that it did, in fact, change driver behavior for the good. The city said, the province said it wouldn't continue with the project because it was up for the national government to implement. Are you ruling that decision not to roll out a Blue Dot program through some way, shape, or form? Try and slowly but surely, and hopefully more than slowly, change the behavior of at sometimes a reckless, oftentimes a reckless taxi industry.
Yeah, I think we've got to move to a space where the taxi industry understands that they're a mobility component of public transport, a responsible business that operates within that framework. And of course, that's why we ran the pilot. The pilot is not sustainable from a provincial point of view. We don't have tax revenue to make decisions on how we spend our money. So we took a couple of $100 million and said, all right, let's run a pilot on a small component of taxis. We as a province are not able to afford, the billions that it would cost. It would have to be an agreement at a national level that subsidized taxis and a behavior change program could come into being. We as a province, every time we want to spend money on issues that are not within our mandate, so we don't get the direct taxation, we have to make really tough choices because at the end of the day, you end up taking money away from your main core services, which is health, education, and social development. So, I think it's a great project. I think it worked very well. We learned some really good lessons. We've been saying to the industry, we're happy to share. That's part of the task team that we're talking about. How do we enable that industry to have the chips in the vehicle so you can see the speed that they're running, you can see that whether they're on route or off route. From a management point of view, it's something that I think the taxi industry should have. But unfortunately, we could run a pilot, but we cannot make it a permanent offering. We don't have the funds for that.
Premier, you saw the president. Yes, it was a social occasion at the Netball World Cup. Saw videos with you in each other's company. Is there support from national government and particularly the president for the actions of law enforcement, and also has he asked to be briefed? Is there a call for greater intervention, maybe from more SAPS resources? He can make a call and makes the decision on whether the SANDF is called. I'm not necessarily always happy when there is SANDF intervention, but have you briefed the president, or has he asked to be briefed on the situation in Cape Town and the Western Cape? There's also parts of Knysna affected by this traffic strike.
So I briefed him on the sidelines of the netball, and then again yesterday. Of course, the National Minister of Transport was with us in meetings yesterday, and part of the discussions last night. We had a government meeting yesterday. I also yesterday spoke to from the police minister to briefing the president to discussing what extra resources can be deployed. We need to make sure we had maximum resource aligned to the violence, and of course that it's all on standby. So far so good today. Some areas showing, as you said, Knysna, some volatility, but it seems to all be quiet now. The same thing in Hermanus and in Worcester. And then, of course, a little bit in Paarl yesterday, and the city. Obviously, the city was the brunt of the violence, and that seems to be calm now again. And I just sincerely hope that we do keep it calm, because at the same time, you can't have negotiations while at the same time, around the back door, people are blocking roads and looting and causing major disruptions. And of course, for us, it's about the disruptions to schools, to clinics. I mean, yesterday, 42 of our clinics were operating on sort of half resources, some of them having to close halfway through the day. That really takes away services, essential services from citizens.
Premier Alan Winde, really appreciate your time.